Get ready for some massive moves because the Chicago Cubs are making big decisions at the trade deadline. ESPN's David Schoenfield has named shortstop prospect Jefferson Rojas as the most likely candidate to be dealt away for pitching, and we dive deep into why this high-rated prospect is suddenly on the chopping block and what this means for the team's future.
Stop using your finger for notes, sketches, and edits. This Jam Jake stylus pen gives your iPad a smoother, more precise writing feel with palm rejection so your hand can rest naturally on the screen. It charges fast, works for hours, and comes with replacement tips. Perfect for school, work, or creative projects. Check the link in the comments to grab it on Amazon.
Next up, we look at the intense rivalry heating up between the Chicago Cubs and the Philadelphia Phillies. After a dominant performance against the Mets, the Phillies are flying to Chicago for a crucial four-game series at Wrigley Field, and we break down the matchup, the recent history, and what this series means for both clubs. We continue the preview of the Cubs versus Phillies series, examining the pitching matchups, including the performance of Colin Rea against Aaron Nola and the potential rotation decisions, as well as looking ahead to the Cubs' upcoming West Coast trip to Los Angeles against the Dodgers. And finally, we wrap up this action-packed news roundup. From the potential trade drama involving Jefferson Rojas to the high-stakes battle between the Cubs and the Phillies, don't miss a single second of the action. Stay locked in with us for all the breaking sports news you need. The Chicago Cubs are reportedly facing a significant trade deadline decision concerning top prospect Flashy Young, who is identified as the biggest candidate for a trade. Following an impressive recent performance that contrasted with earlier struggles, the team is looking to make strategic moves as the trade deadline approaches. ESPN's David Schoenfield named shortstop prospect Jefferson Rojas as the most likely player to be dealt in exchange for pitching. Schoenfield indicated that Rojas, a double-A shortstop with promising skills, faces a blocked path to playing time due to established players like Dansby Swanson and Nico Hoerner, as well as bullpen depth concerns stemming from Cade Horton's absence. Trading Rojas could allow the Cubs to acquire a quality pitcher for the stretch run. While acknowledging the potential downside of losing a top prospect, Schoenfield suggested that the team is positioned to win now if they can navigate the current pitching issues. Furthermore, Rojas' high prospect status suggests he could be a centerpiece in a major deal aimed at acquiring another ace for the Cubs. His strong performance this season, including a .294 batting average over 10 AA games at age 20, has fueled speculation that his value could increase, potentially leading to a major trade for the team. The Chicago Cubs are positioning themselves for a strong trade deadline push following an impressive recent performance that contrasted sharply with earlier struggles. As the team finds momentum, the focus is shifting to asset management, with speculation mounting over which high-value prospects might be moved. ESPN analyst David Schoenfield has identified shortstop prospect Jefferson Rojas as the most likely candidate to be traded, suggesting a move for pitching talent. Schoenfield indicated that Rojas, a double-A shortstop with promising hitting and fielding skills, faces a blocked path to playing time due to established stars like Dansby Swanson, Nico Hoerner, and Alex Bregman. Furthermore, concerns regarding bullpen depth, highlighted by Cade Horton's absence, make trading Rojas a viable strategy to acquire a quality pitcher for the remainder of the season. While acknowledging the potential disappointment if Rojas proves to be a top player, Schoenfield stressed that the team is currently positioned to win, provided they navigate the pitching challenges. Beyond immediate playing time, Rojas' high prospect status suggests he could be the centerpiece in a major deal aimed at acquiring another ace for the Cubs. His impressive statistics this season, including a .294 batting average and a .618 slugging percentage over 10 AA games at age 20, could significantly boost his trade value. Following a high valuation at last year's deadline, the Cubs remain in the crosshairs for top pitching acquisitions, and Rojas' performance could be the catalyst for securing a significant deal. The Chicago Cubs are entering a crucial four-game series against the Philadelphia Phillies at Wrigley Field, marking the conclusion of a 7-game season matchup. Following a recent sweep of the Mets and a loss to the Braves, the Phillies are traveling to Chicago for this contest, setting a challenging tone for the series. This matchup represents the Cubs' first four-game series against the Phillies since 2021, when they suffered a three-game loss at home. It is also the first of four six-game series the Cubs will face this season. The series will wrap up the overall seven-game contest, with the next meeting scheduled for April 22nd. Historically, the teams have met in Philadelphia in 2001 and again at Wrigley Field, with a doubleheader in 2001. The Cubs enter this series riding a hot streak, contrasting sharply with the Phillies, who are struggling significantly, having lost 5 consecutive games and dropping 10 of their last 13 outings. Analysts are calling for the Cubs to maintain their momentum and secure a strong performance in this series. The pitching matchup for the series features several notable players, including Colin Rea and Aaron Nola for the Cubs, and Shota Imanaga and Jessus Luzardo for the Phillies. A key consideration for the Phillies is whether to utilize Taijuan Walker, who has struggled significantly recently. The Cubs' season continues with upcoming matchups against the Reds, Brewers, and road games against the Pittsburgh and St. Louis teams. Looking ahead, the Cubs begin their West Coast tour in Los Angeles with a three-game series against the Dodgers starting Friday evening. The Chicago Cubs face a challenging series against the Philadelphia Phillies, a matchup that marks the culmination of a 7-game season series. Following the Cubs' dominant performance last week, sweeping the Mets and outscoring them 18-7, and the Phillies' subsequent sweep at home by the Braves, the Phillies have flown to Chicago for this 4-game series at Wrigley Field. This encounter represents the Cubs' first 4-game series against the Phillies since 2021, a period when they lost 3 of 4 home games. It is also the first of 4 6-game series the Cubs will play this season. Historically, the teams have met in April, with previous encounters dating back to 2001. The Cubs are entering this series in strong form, contrasting sharply with the Phillies, who are struggling, having lost 5 consecutive games and dropping 10 of their last 13. Analysts are calling for the Cubs to maintain their momentum and secure a favorable outcome in this matchup. The pitching matchups for the series are as follows. Monday, Colin Rea, Cubs versus Aaron Nola, Phillies. Tuesday, Shota Imanaga, Cubs versus Jessus Luzardo, Phillies. Wednesday, Matthew Boyd, Cubs versus an opponent yet to be confirmed. Thursday, Edward Cabrera, Cubs versus Christopher Sanchez, Phillies. There is a potential rotation consideration for the Phillies, with Taijuan Walker being an option for Wednesday, though his recent struggles suggest the Phillies may opt for another pitcher. Beyond this series, the Cubs have a busy schedule ahead, including a 3-game series against the Dodgers in Los Angeles starting Friday evening, followed by games against the Reds in May, the Brewers in August-September, and travel to Pittsburgh and St. Louis. Statistically, the Cubs have played 52 3-game series, with mixed results in previous seasons. This series is a critical juncture in the season series between the two clubs.